Hey guys, it's Mini Monday Madness, and it's Ellen here, and today is March 1st, so let's do the birth flower of March. Daffodils! It's spring is here. I go over how to do this step-by-step drawing and painting. If you're a Patreon member, you can download the traceable that goes with it. If you don't know what Patreon, just click on the little link right there, and you'll see what it's about. I have exclusive tutorials there weekly, and traceables that go on my YouTube, and ad-free videos. But I teach you how to draw this too, so don't worry. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section. And please don't forget to hit the bell notification button to know my tutorial's up. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, I'm going to go over my supplies. I have two 3-inch squares of Arch 100% cotton cold pressed paper. The 3-inch square, I think I said that. I have my paints and my palettes. I'll be using maybe 3 colors today. I'll be using my Princeton 8 long round and possibly my number 4 long round. That's over here. Paper towels. I have my water jars up here, whatnot. If you're a Patreon member, you can download the traceable. If not, I'm going to teach you how to draw a daffodil. I also have a daffodil tutorial also that I did a while ago that I'll link here also. So, but this one I'm going to be doing white ones and yellow ones, and that one is only yellow ones. So really daffodils, they have I think they're pretty simple to draw, personally for me, but when maybe others may not. I would start by just making a really wiggly circular shape. See, it was wiggly. And then you're going to put like a U, and that is the inside of the daffodil. You put a little half moon here, and you can put the little stamens coming out. Now for the outside part, it's basically like drawing a 5 or a 6-petal star in a way. So you're going to just go like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the 6th one could just be a little short one. And then, when you're painting, you're going to put these little ridges of the petals, just like so. And then the inside of this particular part, same thing. And then the stem just goes down like this, and they're kind of just skinny, the rounded point. And then for a bud, you would put the stem like coming down like that. It looks like a little curve like this, like a little beak actually, and that's like a little bud. And then do another thing like that. Same thing in the opposite way. Just think of it again, a wiggly circle to like a little U to it, right? And then you get the 5-petal, 6-petal, sorry, 3, 4, 5, and then the little ones right here, and then again just like that, and then draw another stem going down, and the leaves are kind of skinny, and then you have your daffodils. And slow the you can slow my process down so that you can see it better. So I've got my 2 here. One's going to be on the yellows, and one will be white with the orange yellow in the middle. So I just going to work with 3 colors. I'm going to work with quinachradone magenta, the cadmium yellow deep, and the peacock blue, so make your life a little bit easier. Although I might add in a little Paynes gray for the gray part of the, or maybe not, just going to for the white part of the daffodil. So we'll start with that one because that would be more difficult than the yellow one. So you want to make like a nice pale beigey kind of tone. So I've got my yellow here. I'll add a little bit of yellow, a tiny bit, so maybe like 20% magenta, 80% yellow, and then a little touch of the blue, and it should make like a nice brown. Just a little tap. See, making a little tap here. You can see that brown color right there. Brown tan. You might have to keep adding to it. It looks a little bit green, so you might add some more yellow and a little more magenta. Because if you do 50-50 of these 2 colors, you're going to get orange. And then when you go add the orange, you go add the blue, and it turns into a brown. Right? But we want it more of a beige, so we want more yellow. You can also do a yellow ochre or something like that and add a little, and I might add just a touch more blue. I always start off trying to do like I have a little scrap here and see if I like the color. It's kind of going towards green again, so I'm going to add some more red. And I might add a touch of Paynes gray, which is over here on the other side. You can't really see it. Just to get that color I'm looking for, like a really light brown color. Okay, so we got that. So in this star area, we're just going to take wet on dry. We're going to have, see, it's not too much water, just a little bit, just enough so you can move the paint around. And we're going to take our brush, number 8, and we're going to take it from the inside and just make these lines going to the outside. See that? Maybe a little too dark. I'm going to clean up my brush and just push this color around a little bit more. See, I'm just softening that color. Again, I'm going to take that just on the outside. See, making these simple strokes. You can still see the trace lines, and if they're still there, that's fine. You don't have to worry about them, taking them out. At this point, you can go add some more gray if you wanted to, less brown, but it doesn't matter if it's gray or brown. It has to be this pale color, so it indicates white, even though it's not white. See, I'm just making these little lines going on the outside of the petal and a few on the inside. Just like that. Sometimes it helps if you draw with the pencil too. I mean, I don't mind if I see the pencil lines on these. I really don't. I'm just going to grab a little bit of the Paynes gray and go in here, get a little bit darker towards the middle part of that bulb flower. See, it's a little bit darker. I'm not doing wet on wet. I want to have control of the paint. I can put a little on the tip also. See, like that? I'm just going over my trace lines. Use those pencil lines to your advantage when you're working with white type of flowers. You see that? Now for this part, we're going to be doing the yellow. So I got the yellow, which is cadmium deep. I like, 80%, a little bit 20% of the red. Magenta. So it's an even more deeper yellow. Gonna get consistency, not super loose and not super wet. I'll add a little more water to this. I always kind of dab in my paper towel too, so it's not so wet on the picture, especially with this small size. And I'm just going to put that color in this bottom area. And I'm going to put it in this interior area. I might as well do the other one since I have this color ready to go. We're going to let that dry. We can use the same color, right, on the ones we're going to do that are yellow. So these are going to be yellow on the star area and a more of an orange yellow on the inside. So the outer petal can be a light pale yellow. Just fill that all in one color. We're going to work on both of these simultaneously. It works out better for you. It comes out a little faster. So we're doing this outer petal like we did with this one. It's going to fill all that in. Try and work a little faster. What's good about working both of them at the same time says if this one's drying, you paint this one and you can switch and go back. It says it's waiting and waiting to dry for each individual picture. And you can kill two birds at one stone. Well, not really literally kill them, but you know what I mean, guys. So we're going to fill in all this outer petals. You could go in and do the inside too with the same color. A little bit brighter too if you wanted to. Just fill it all in. Okay, and then we'll come back to that. Getting this a little bit more brighter. I'm gathering some right from the tube. A little more concentrated. It got a little too pale. I want this yellow to be nice and bright. You'll notice when it dries much lighter, so you can have to go back in and add another layer to it, which I'm doing right here pretty quickly. For the little bud, I'll just go in and put some yellow. I'm going to put some green over it, but I want a little bit yellow showing through, so I'll do the yellow first. All right, we're done with that. We'll go back to this guy. Now we're going to take that same cadmium yellow deep and add the magenta. We got that orange. 50-50, see? I'm going to water that down a little bit. See, I have a little bit here. Now I'm going to go in and take a little more magenta, put it over here, yellow, even darker orange, minimal water. All right, clean up my brush and I grab this part here first. So, I'm going to make some lines from the inside of this thing and going downward, inward, like that. Just like that. From here, I'm going to put some up and under. Little lines going downward, and then from the bottom going up. This particular one seemed to look, it got a little too orange. I might go back in and just add a little more bright yellow. Just going to add a layer of yellow. On the outer edge, I'm going to put that darker orange. Just going to outline it. Do that little wiggle that I'd show you doing the drawing. See, we're going to wiggle the color. Wiggle, wiggle. Now this part's maybe a little bit wet, so you might have to wait a little bit for that. So we're going to wait on that one. We're going to move back to this one. I'm going to grab that orange color that we have here. And we're going to fill in, go around that wiggle. Going to fill in, going towards the center with that orange. Same thing here. This is a smaller one. We can take this darker orange, add a little more of this bright yellow, and start to do the same. Oh, this one's a little wet. I would say, see, they do the same things we did with the white leaves. Just taking that color, going from the center outward, go on the outside lines here. See how I'm just going to follow the petal, and then do some little lines from the middle going out. I might do a couple darker ones too, just so you can see the lines. See that? You guys can see that? Got that darker orange, just wiggling it, going around. And putting a few lines here. Just going to clean up my brush a little bit. I'm going to grab some of this bright yellow. Put some bright yellow in here. I want this center part to be more orange yellow and the rest of it a brighter yellow. So I'm going to go back in again and grab some of this bright yellow. See, it's pretty much drying pretty light, and I don't want that to do that. I want it to dry a little bit darker. So we're going to have to keep making some layers on this one. I'm going back in and grabbing that just cadmium yellow deep right out of the tube, basically. Making that much brighter. It will dry again later. It's the same premise of the white one. We'll just go back in after this dries and add those little lines. And then this one, and the center part of the inside of the bulb, we're going to do that orange. And make the lines go down like that. Wait till this dries in here. We're going to go the same way up there. So again, take this orange and grab some orange I already have over here. Go around the outline of that. And then some little lines upward. We'll have to go back in and get a little even darker here so you can see the distinction. I'm moving back. I know I'm moving back and forth, but so now see we're going to get darker on this outer edge here and make those lines going in like that. And we're going to grab some, we're going to make some green, and I'll just take some peacock blue, some yellow or Prussian blue, whatever you have. Make it a nice dark green. Add a touch of magenta so you get this darker green. And that's going to go inside here. Just right in here. The inside part. See that? I can use the same brush basically for all of it if I wanted to. And then I can go in and grab like a nice orangey brown. Put the little stamens coming out like that. And then the green for the leaves, you could take that same green that's darker, add some more yellow to it, it brightens it right up. And we're going to go in and just make the little, we're going to fill in the leaves and the stems. Just like this. It's a nice bright green. We can add some darker green to it after that green's filled in. I didn't do the white part of this. I'll have to do that. See, while it's still wet, if you want to take some of that darker green you had, you can just kind of bleed that right in there. Right there. Depends on how dark you want it to be. I might want to keep mine a little bit on the brighter side. Okay. Keep some of that bright green also. A nice contrast. Really simple. I think I made a mistake by sticking that one little mark right there. I'll just clean off my brush and remove it with the paper towel. Voila. Okay, we're going to go back to this one. We can do the stems on this one too. And then come back and do the, now that it's drying, the flower. So I have my greens. Just going to fill in the stems. I was trying to make this tutorial fast, but I guess because I'm doing the two different color dandelions, daffodils. Yes, just fill that in. And then I'm going to fill it over here. See, I'm making that like almost like a beak that I showed you in the drawing. And then there's another one behind it. And this is where I'll go in and I'll put in some nice darker greens. So I'll add some more blue. Touch of that magenta. See, nice and dark. And more yellow. Get a nice darker green. And I'll just put some of that right where the flower meets the stem. It's kind of like you see the shadow. And under here too. See that? Really simple. This little bud guy, I'm going to take that light green over the yellow. I'm going to outline it first, put a line here, and just put these little marks going in like that. So I just went over that yellow with a line on the outside and a couple of lines going this way and this way. It's like a little bud. I'm going to go back to the daffodil. We're going to get our orange that we made. And now we're going to do this little outline under this bottom part here, the wiggle part. And we'll take some lines going like this. Again, similar to the one we did with the white, only now we're doing it with the orange and the yellow. So now you can see that interior of the flower, kind of more shape in the leaves. Just like that. Or you can make, you know, if you didn't want to do so much orange, you can make it much, if you made this part pale yellow, you could have made the other part like a deeper yellow like this. Same premise. It's just the yellow is almost like an orangey yellow. It's darker. And then again, the outward wiggle. And then in here, little lines coming inside of it. See how there's little lines coming downward? Just outlining that little wiggle. And you can do the little stamens going inside. This guy seems to be getting a little bit lost. I'm going to put my dark green center in. I'll fix it. Just like we have with the first one. There. So maybe this brown, this orange got a little too brown. We can go back and I have some brilliant orange here and just brighten it up. Go right over it. This one's a little still wet, so I'm gonna have to wait on that one. But you get the idea. And then I can go back in, grab some darker yellows too, and kind of push some of that paint out here next to the orange. So you're getting a nice variety of the yellows in here. It's basically outlining the petal and then putting in some nice lines. Same thing with this one. We're going back to the first one. Gonna outline in here. Add some brighter yellow. I don't want too much of an orange color. I'm gonna go grab the orange for the outside wiggle area, little stamens. And I'll have to do my little grays for this one, which I didn't do. Beige and grays of those petals. So it's complete. You see, you're just kind of going from the inward, the inner part of the flower, and just pushing the paint outward and outlining those petals that we had drawn. And you just grab a nice darker gray or beige as you get towards this bulb area. When this one's dry, you can go back in and add even some more darker lines so it really stands out. It takes a little time, you know, you're just going to keep adding and adding till you feel satisfied that it looks the way you want to. Same thing with the green stems. So I will just keep adding a darker tone. Now they do have some, if you do want to get real technical, you do have some little lines on the stems. So I will grab some Prussian blue, mix it with my green, get even darker still. I'll take my number 4 paintbrush and make this little teeny lines going up and down into the stem and into the leaves. They look like little ridges. That's when you get really technical and even get darker still right where it's touching next to the flower. See that? I'm adding the darker. So you see the little ridges they put in? That's getting really technical. And you can take number 4 again. Again and again. Layering. Layering takes time. And adding again another layer of those lines on the flower. See, doing the outside tips, getting in darker still. Very delicate when they're white. Same thing with the orange too. Go take this brush because it's tiny and you can have more control. And you just go around. I'll add my little green inside part. And I can go here and add the orange. But you get, you know, it's hard to work a little small, but you understand. The same thing we'll do with this one. We'll take our deeper oranges, yellows, and we'll go back over once it's dried and get those little details on the petals that we missed before. This one kind of got a little muddy, the little tiny one. I'll just go in and fix that a little bit. I'll have to make the orange a little bit darker, almost like a red orange, so it stands out. Just like that. And then you just add, again, those little lines. Just like so. It is tricky working small, you know. And then the same thing with the green stems. You go back in and you can, oh, excuse me, I just messed that up. The little lines. You'll never know, right? See, went right over that. You'll never know. If you guys watch TikTok and they have that one sound that says, they'll never know, you'll never know. It's pretty funny. Okay, so again, we're just doing those ridges. And take this brush and do that little line here, outlining that little bud. And I would go back in because I lost some of the yellow, and I would take just a little wash of yellow. I just kind of wash in there some yellow. That's a little too wet, but there you go. It's going to brighten up some of these, some brighter yellow. That's pretty much it. I had meant to make this tutorial a little faster and easier, but it ended up being longer. But basically that's it. You basically gonna just outline the little drawing that we did with the orange. You can bleed in a little orange here if you want, and then put the outline even darker. Depends on how bright you want, how light you want it. You know, I might go back in if I feel like it's too much, you know, and try and remove it, some paint, but that's a little tricky. You gotta take a clean brush, push that paint around, and I let it, yeah, I made it a little bit lighter now. Same thing with this petal here. I feel like that got a little too muddy. And I lifted some of the paint up. Let's talk about that, how you can fix things. See if you feel like it's a little too dark. You just take some clean water and then lift it up. And I'll go and add bright yellow back in there. And that's how you do it. I mean, mine came out a little more on the orange side. Like I said, you can just play around with adding less orange, more yellow. See, I'm gonna go and just fix a few of these just to make them less orange, more yellow. And I'll take the yellow and I'll brighten that up. And that's how you do that. You just kind of fix it that way. And there you go. And there's the March birth flower, daffodil, mini Monday Madness. So see, if this seems a little too washed out, you can just go back in again with your little Princeton number 4 with the browns that you have, the grays, and just really outline the outer edge of the petals. so it won't seem so faded. That's all you gotta do. So I hope you guys enjoyed this mini Monday Madness. It's the birth flower. So basically I showed you how to draw this. And if you don't know how to draw it and you don't want to deal with drawing it, you can just download from Patreon. Thank you guys so much for stopping by my channel. I hope March is better for you than February. And I think it's going to get better. I think spring is coming around the corner and good things are going to happen. So be positive. I'm positive. Let's be positive. Okay, guys, thank you so much. Take care, and I'll speak to you soon.